When I was a child, things happened to me that should never happen to any kid. I was only 6, and it was supposed to be a regular game of Monopoly, as had been many times before. He was my friend. I had no reason not to trust him. But on that day, something changed. Something shifted, and my life was to never be the same again. Nearly 1 million children each year experience sexual abuse. By the time they reach young adulthood, they are trying to find a way to quell that pain, to be able to process those emotions. And many times they find themselves in a cycle of escapism, and they've chosen to escape through large amounts of drugs and alcohol as a way to deal with their overwhelming pain. What I endured as a child for all those years completely derailed me. It splintered me, and it set into motion how I was to feel about myself for the rest of my life. I developed an intense lack of self-worth, poor body image, extreme anger, and outright hatred for myself. That became really evident by the time I was 11 years old. I began to fist fight in the streets. I acquired a healthy habit of petty theft and daily consumption of alcohol. And later on in my years, a large variety of street drugs as well. All this was as a way to deal with the overwhelming sense of betrayal that I felt, of rejection and abandonment and utter confusion that I was not lovable. And later on in years, that led to a severe domestic violent relationship that lasted 10 years. That was also something that I deemed the person worthy enough to have my love, when in fact, we did not even understand what love meant. How could we? We were both broken. After that led even more deeper into more abusive relationships, one that ultimately almost took my life. The beatings were so bad, but I was able to survive. But the brutality of what I endured, no one should have to go through that. Eventually, I reached my rock bottom. I was emotionally exhausted, physically depleted, spiritually broken. I was in such gripping pain, in such a deep despair. It was quite pitiful. I had really reached a place that many healers, that many therapists, that many people know of as the dark night of the soul. I knew I had to do something. Traditional psychotherapy had helped a bit. The several medications they had put me on had definitely helped a bit. The several rehabs I had joined had helped a bit. All indeed helped to a certain degree. But it became really apparent to me that I had to do deeper work. And up to that point in time, I was way too scared to go inward, to go into my past, to go to that place of deep wounding, to resurface those scenarios that played out and sit and look at them. But ultimately, I knew that that is where the healing would take place. My life up to that point was completely fractured, and prior to that, I had been existing almost on empty and faking it to make it. I was just too scared to delve deeply. But alas, my spirit called me to go ever inward, to take the journey, to go in and take the plunge into self-discovery. I reached out to spiritual teachers, to spiritual healers. Though psychotherapists and traditional modalities had helped me, I knew that I had to go into the mind-body-soul connection. And I knew that these spiritual teachers and psychotherapists were going to be the ones to support that growth and that evolution within myself. I was ready to give voice to my little girl and tell her, yes, I acknowledge what happened to you. Yes, I see what happened. And I know that you need healing. That my inner child needed to be validated. And my inner child needed to be seen and to be rescued. I had to go back in and look at the story in order to be able to release the story. Going back into my past by no means was an easy endeavor, but it was something that I had to do to set myself free. Sitting with those violations, revisiting and rehashing and acting out those horrific scenarios was exactly what was being asked of me in order to be able to let go. Processing those feelings of betrayal and that sense of abandonment and rejection that I felt, and then to explore further about forgiveness for my perpetrators and former perpetrators and forgiveness of myself was freeing. It was cathartic, and it was ultimately the key to my success. Had it not been for me making the decision to set the intention, to take action, and to be in determination to do the inner work, I definitely would not be sitting here with you today. An empowered woman. A woman who is now fully aware of her needs and who she is and the boundaries with which she chooses to live her life. If you find yourself in any kind of pain, any kind of emotional pain, I urge you to be kind to yourself, to take the steps, to take the action, to make up your mind, to decide that you are worth it, to go and ask for assistance to help you on your journey to self-discovery. No savior is coming. You are your savior. You are the only one who can make that choice, that decision to say enough. I do not like a certain aspect of what's going on in my life, therefore I choose to create the life that I deserve. And then you make the decision to make the call. So here I am today, an empowered woman, a woman who is truly blessed and who has done the inner work. My life is now filled with joy. Not to say that there aren't times of conflict, but I have the tools to be able to overcome and not allow it to take up too much space in my mind or in my heart. And because I was able to overcome so much, and I've been one of the lucky ones who have been able to survive and live to tell, it is my duty to share this with my community. Take the tools and the wisdom that I have and return to my village, so to speak, and share abundantly all these resources. I do have a responsibility to shine the light in all the dark places, and it is for that reason that I rise up to this challenge of being part of the Messenger Project. How dare I not share all the resources with humanity and help humanity along and pass the key, pass the torch, so that others may lead healthy, happy existences and have a successful life. And it is for this reason that I rise up to the challenge to become part of the Messenger Project movie. It is my desire to spread the message of hope and inspiration, calling to action all those who want their lives to be different. I want to play a bigger game, I want to play full out, and I want to share with the world all the techniques that I have, and igniting in others to go out and do the same for their communities. I want people to be able to right their wrongs and release past doings, and to forgive and to surrender and to forgive themselves, and help them to become empowered and to have true self-love. It's all about empowerment, and it's all about knowing and teaching to others that you have a choice and a say in how your life is going to play out for the rest of your days. If my story and my message inspired you in any way, I would really love it if you would leave a comment and vote for me, and I'll be sure to respond right away. I would love to know more about you as well, so we can stay connected online. And if you know of other people in your life that you feel could benefit from my story and the sharing of my journey through trial and tribulation and now into triumph, I ask that you please do go ahead and share it with them as well. Thank you for taking the time to view my story, and I look forward to connecting with you online soon.